You are listening to the Manhattan Tri Club Leading from the Front podcast. We are based in Manhattan, Illinois, a southwest suburb of Chicago. Please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at the handle Manhattan Tri Club. We hope you like the show. Hey, everybody. We're back, Manhattan Tri Club, leading from the front. We're off of our regular cadence because we had some pretty important stuff going on the past weekend, and we're going to get into that. We got all of us here. And if you're watching, April is still full of energy, and we're going to talk about the insane energy that April has had over the past week. But April, how you doing?
Hey, everybody.
Bridget,
What's up, guys?
wait till you guys hear how awesome Bridget was last weekend. And
yeah.
Grace.
MVP.
Hi, everybody.
So cool. So we jumping right in. We talk a little bit, but we three of us raced Rockford Ironman 70.3. An amazing race this year for a lot of reasons. The only three of us raced because Bridget was on the IR. She has since been cleared back to training.
That's right.
She cannot do any dynamic movement, but we only run in straight lines and ride in straight lines and swim in straight lines.
That's right.
So she has no excuse. We're going to be training hard. Hopefully we'll be training hard. But yeah, so it was a really cool weekend. Started out, I don't know, 6 months ago, 8 months ago when we all signed up. April had this genius idea to rent an Airbnb and have it be our central athlete house. So we had the four of us. Karen Holbert stayed with us. Brett was there. We had a couple visitors, Dale and Chris. They ran a relay. Came by. Everybody hung out a little bit. But what an amazing idea! We were 15 minutes from downtown. It was nice because we were all together. We could travel together, get our gear there. Bike check was easy. It was awesome. Did our pre-rides and pre-runs. But awesome idea, April. Thanks for pulling that all together for us.
Yeah, no problem. All the Olympians stay in an athlete village all together in like an athlete dormitory. So that's what I was trying to replicate because of our, we're on the same level of eliteness.
Right.
So it only
That's
made
right.
sense.
Yep.
Athlete Village.
Yep.
It was awesome.
I told my husband, I was like, I'm staying at the Athlete Village, and he laughed. He's like, "Are you serious?" And I said, "Absolutely, I'm serious." He's like, "That's what we're gonna call it." I'm like, "Yes, it's an athlete village. This
Well-
is Olympics here. This is serious stuff."
My Sherpa calls it the athlete house. She just because I won't let her call it anything else. She called it an Airbnb. I mean, you mean the athlete house?
The athlete house.
She finally gave up. She's like, yeah, whatever.
It's not a regular Airbnb when there's 5 athletes in there.
Yep.
Let's first start off talking about how awesome the freaking weather was this past weekend.
It was
I mean,
cool.
talk about what a difference between last year and this year.
Huge.
Well, it was a roller coaster too going into the week because last weekend and early last week, it was super hot. It was getting into the 90s, 95s, but we knew that the weather was going to come down. The only question was, is it going to be wetsuit legal? Because that temperature was pushing up, but we got a lot of rain and it ultimately was wetsuit legal. Thank God. But I think the temperature at swim start was like 64 degrees. It doesn't get any better than that. The max temperature for the day, I think, was 70 or 71.
Yeah.
And
Perfect.
it's just for anybody that's raced that, there's only been 2 races now. But if you did it the first year compared to the second year, you now have
Completely different.
you have a strong understanding of how much that weather and humidity can affect what you do. And I think it's helpful for us older athletes to have to go through that experience because now you kind of know your body. And when it's the next race we go to and it's super humid and super hot, you got to dial it back. And when it's really mild and comfortable, you can get into trouble because you think, okay, I feel great and I can go harder, but it helps you. That muscle memory is helpful for your next race. And I think it was just, you could not have asked for better weather other than the wind. I didn't like the wind. Gotta be honest.
Yeah, I thought the wind, we Triathletes are good at many things because our sport is multifaceted, but I didn't realize how much of we would turn into like meteorologists like the week coming up to it. But even like the wind, I was like, the wind is always a liar. Like it said what was 8 miles per hour, and I was like, oh, this is nothing compared to what we train in. Like we're gonna coast through this, and it was not only 8 miles per hour. I still thought that the wind a few times was gonna take my wheels out from under me.
Yes.
But really, I felt so much more trained on the bike, so I was like, it's fine." Like, would I have loved that 8 mile per hour? Yeah, sure. But also, it wasn't over 100 degrees, so really, I can't complain.
Yeah. There was a couple instances. I've got real deep wheels, 90 millimeter back and 60 or 70 front, and I'm heavier than a lot of riders, so the crosswind doesn't affect me as much. It still affects me, but it really affects the lighter riders. But there was a couple of instances where you get a straight crosswind, and that it would be like a 20-mile-an-hour gust, and it would catch my back tire. And if you're not paying attention, if you're like in traffic or you're close to somebody, they lose it. There's a couple bumps I had with other riders. I was passing somebody, and this guy decided to try and pass me at the same time in a one lane situation, and I literally bumped his leg with my leg, and I'm like,
Oh,
dude, just tell me you're there. Say something, because on the left, I don't care that you're passing me, but tell me you're there, because if that person next to me swerves, I swerve. All of a sudden, we got a Sam Long incident, and you're going in the ditch. But no, the weather was amazing. I think as a group, our training was we all did a good job staying on top of the training. I know, Grace, you feel a little bit like you didn't train well enough, but I think you did. You did all the rides. You did a lot of the runs. I know you bailed on some swimming towards the end, but you're a strong swimmer anyway. So I think from a training perspective, all of us were on top of it and trained as good as we could be for a race like this.
Yes.
So I had a couple goals. I set up a race plan for myself, and I helped you guys, April and Grace, put a race plan together. But before we get into this, the absolute GOAT MVP of the weekend was Bridget.
yes.
Bridget,
Like, how do you do that noise? Doo, doo, doo.
Listen, I like now that I've done this, I have
Mhm.
some bigger ideas next time. I mean, I wanna like race with you guys, but if I can't, I definitely will have some extra things in my pocket for
Or
sure.
or we're just gonna supply our spectators with those things
With
to
the
make
box,
sure
right?
there's gonna be a spectator box that comes along with bells and horns and signs and matching outfits, maybe, you know. I can't yeah.
So Bridget, as everybody knows, is recovering from ankle surgery. She still had her boot on. She's since been cleared, boots off, in a brace now. But Bridget commissioned a scooter from a friend and literally scooted around the race
It was fantastic.
with
It
a
was great.
boot on her foot, a backpack as big as any triathlete's backpack, full of our shit. And I know she saw April and me 3 times. I know
Yes.
she saw Grace at least 2 times. I know you saw Karen 2 times. You saw Dan twice. You saw Mary twice.
Yep. Dude,
Just
I that app is great, man. I freaking but
yeah,
it's stressful as shit trying to
yeah,
follow everybody.
yeah.
she
I
said
And
was worried if I went too far one way, I would miss somebody. I needed to see everybody at least two times before the finish, and then I didn't want to leave too early because I needed to make sure I was at the finish line. I had to scoot. I was worried about the battery level in the scooter. I had to rig up a thing to get my lawn chair. I had my lawn chair sitting at the swim start looking for all of you guys. Like, I mean, it was like legit. Like, but now I know it's going to be a much better plan next time. So.
it
And we have
was
to give a
amazing.
shout out to Christy for helping
Oh,
Yeah,
Bridget
yeah. Shout
catch
out
up.
to Christy. Holy shit.
yeah.
She was perfect. She was like, they're coming out of transition. I'm like, okay, I'm about 5 minutes down the road. I can catch them.
What happens next time?
Yeah.
and then she was
Well,
telling us, Christy was
she was
telling us
telling
in
us too.
transition, like, make sure you find Bridget.
Oh,
Bridget's gonna be right in front of the bridge.
I'm on the bridge. I'm at the pedestrian bridge.
he would tell me at the run and start, I was like, "How far ahead of me are they?" And she's like 3 or 4 miles.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I lied. I'm like, you got this. They're only 2 minutes ahead of
"Yeah."
you.
I was like, "I didn't give Bridget that." Christy told me the but it was great.
It was good. It was fun. It was a lot of fun
Yeah.
watching you guys. I did have tears in my eyes many, many times because I wanted to participate, and I'm so just proud of all of you guys. So like it's just an emotional experience watching like all walks of life do this race, and like, you know, like we're just weekend warriors here. Like, no, I mean, I am. Maybe you guys are not. You're a little better than a weekend warrior. But like to watch all you guys, I mean, just everybody is super. I love like I see Mary and Karen, and I'm like, man, 70 years old and freaking
Yeah.
they're out here doing it. And like, I just get real like teary eyed and emotional. And so I loved it. I loved it. I wish I had a friend with me to sit there and do this all with me. It would be a little less stressful, AKA Brett. And
Yeah. Yeah.
next
It was
time,
it was funny because Bridget like took a screenshot of the Ironman tracker of all the runners on the map, and it looked
I
like
tried to get them all on the same page. That's why I did it.
it looked like Mario Kart. It looked like we were
Yes.
Mario Kart little guys on the
Yeah.
whole track.
Yep.
That was funny.
That's why I did it, because I was like, look at how stressful this shit is.
Yeah.
Right.
It was a
No,
workout.
Yes,
it was. And
Yeah.
it was, yeah, I know you, Grace, you mentioned Christy too, and that was an unexpected surprise. Christy not only
was so nice.
volunteered in the medic tent because she's a paramedic firefighter, and she volunteered for it. Wasn't racing. She's just coming off a shoulder surgery, but literally we weren't expecting it. I didn't see her coming out of T1, but apparently she saw me, and I got on the bike and I heard somebody screaming my name. And I looked over, and it was Christy, and she took a couple pictures of me, and I got this big smile because like somebody knew me.
I'm famous.
But then when we came into T2, she was there, and she's giving us the rundown. All right, Bridget's here. You got us here. It was just, you guys all did an awesome job. And it made, you go, these kind of races we do it because we like to do it, and it's fun, and we're all A personalities, but at the end of the day, it's a grind. It's a hard day, and you get delirious at points. And, especially, we'll get into some of the details of the race reports, but there's times where you kind of don't know where you're at, and you're just following people and hoping that you don't shit your pants.
Literally. Oh my gosh.
But so, we'll talk about some of the race plans. I think that'll be a good topic. We can talk about the plan that we built for you, April, and yours, Grace. We'll talk about mine a little bit. So let's talk first about what our goals were for the race. We know that the weather was amazing and compared to last year, but we were all relatively well trained, felt good. For April and I, that this is really a training race or a B race, because Madison full Ironman in September is the big dog. So you don't want to do anything stupid like injure yourself, and we'll talk about that, I'm sure. But for me, I had a miserable race last year. Started with the swim. I overbiked to make up for the swim, and blew up on the run. I was at like 7:30, 7 hours and 30 minutes. It was terrible. So going into this one, I had a couple goals. I had a goal. I wanted to be between 5:35 and 5:45. So sub 6. Worst case, I wanted to be like right at 6. And then I wanted to execute my nutrition and finish the race strong. And I'd say I had a mixed bag on all that. And we'll talk about my nutrition mistakes, because I think that could help other people in their races this summer. But how about you guys? Grace, what were your goals based on the race plan we set up?
So my personal goal was to be between 6 and 6.5. 6, I would have been really happy with. 6.5, I would have been okay with, and I almost made it. I think I fell short on the run. I think my nutrition was okay, but I kind of, on the bike, I lost track of it. But I think I didn't ever feel, there were times in the run where I felt like I just wanted to quit. Like, if it weren't for you guys, I might have. I'm like, I could just walk right off right here. And then I'm like, no, I can't. And April and Mary and everybody else, they're still out there. And Karen, I didn't. But I think my nutrition was okay this year. I think still always fine tuning to do, but it was
How do
pretty
you
good.
feel about your swim?
I feel good about the swim. I did well on the swim, but the river had a very fast current, so it totally helped me. But I feel good
Yeah.
about it.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I don't panic in the water. I actually that's probably the part of the race I enjoy the most, surprisingly.
That's awesome.
How about you, April? What were your goals?
Uh, well, I had time goals, and I'm gonna give kudos to Chad because he is a really good coach, and I feel really guilty because, you made a and maybe I shouldn't say this on air, but you made a comment of, like, uh and it wasn't intentional to make us feel bad, but I did feel bad that you've given us so much coaching, and it was something about your transition bag. You're like, "Well, I couldn't get my transition bag together because I had to get 4 bikes together." And not in a you didn't say it
Oh,
in a mean way, but I was like, "I feel so bad because Chad takes such good care of us
yeah,
in making sure our bikes and our tires and our whatever." And, like,
everything.
Chad even sent, me and Grace the days leading up to the race, like a report of like we had already discussed like what we wanted for our overall times and what we thought we could accomplish. But then Chad like took it a step further as a coach and like put together like this is what you should feel like on your swim. April, stop swimming so hard. Like fucking chill out, man. Like you're not gonna win this. I don't know how it was even in like the bike part. I'm laughing about this because he gets mad because I go so hard in swim practice. He's like, you're not he's like in the swim section, he's like, you should feel good and steady and slow. This is not where you're going to win the race. And in the bike, it was like, you should feel amazing because you didn't swim hard. And in the run, it was like, but just like kudos to you, Chad, as like a great
Yeah,
coach for our team because
yes,
it like my brain doesn't like take that step further in triathlon yet. And like, I'm just like, man, I don't know, I'm going to do it in 2 hours. I don't know, man. Like, I'm going to get there somehow. And he's like, no, no, no. This is how you will get there. Like,
right.
this is what you're going to do from the first quarter of your run, the middle third of your run, last third of your run kind of thing. So I did end up meeting my goal, but I kind of wish I would have put out into the ether a different number because I freaking hit 6 hours, 0 seconds, 0 milliseconds. Like, how do you even do that? Like
Right.
6 0 0 0 0 0, like
Yeah.
flat, flat. And I'm like, damn,
Amazing.
if I would have skipped one porta potty or one high five, like
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I would have been
You would have
sub
been sub
6.
6.
Like what? Like,
Yeah,
and I feel like if I would have just told I was also, it's fully my fault too, because I was looking at my times for each of them and I didn't think I was going to even hit 6 flat. And so on the run, I was like, I also really love to have a good time. So I'm going to take the time to also have a good time. And I wish I would have just high stepped it at the end or something. Like I knew what my overall run time was, but I didn't know what like, because I'm a dummy and don't usually use the triathlon feature on my watch. So I didn't even attempt to look at what my full time was. So I didn't even know I was that close. But I did hit my goal because I said 6 hours to 6:30. I took off an hour and 26 minutes compared to last year. Like it
Yeah.
was a big accomplishment, but when you're at 6 flat, you're like, freaking A, man. Like, I wish I wouldn't have taken one water. I don't know, man.
So we're gonna go 550 next year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
5:45 at least.
All right, 545.
Well,
5:45.
my finish time, my goal, based on the being the 5:35, 5:45. I didn't get there. I finished in 6:02. I was 34:47 on the swim,
I beat
2
Chad.
hours and 53 on the bike,
I beat
and
Chad.
2:17 on the run.
April was faster than Chad.
April beat me on all of it, and I could not be prouder that she beat me on everyone. That's just
No,
awesome.
don't say that. You're supposed to give me competition so I feel less bad about beating you and you almost shitting your
It
pants.
it doesn't mean that I'm not gonna try to beat you next time,
Okay, okay.
and I'm not gonna make excuses about my GI problems. 5 times,
But
5
that will
different
not happen again. So you know,
5
April, it's not gonna happen again.
Yeah, he's not gonna let me
5
have it so easy next time.
Yeah.
5
5
different shit houses, not including transition. I
yeah,
had one buddy that I ran with, a guy down in Chattanooga that, kind of chaperoned us, he's a stud. He does all the ultras that April wants to do, and he
Crazy.
congratulated me on mine, and he's like, "20 minutes in transition. Dude, what are you doing?" Well, I was having some issues in transition, but
That sucks.
yeah, the race week, those are our goals. We talked about the weather. Race week, we arrived in Rockford on Friday
Thursday.
morning. Friday.
Friday.
Friday
Fri-
morning. You're right. Friday
Yeah,
morning.
Yep, yep, yep.
we got there Friday morning. Transition and the athlete village was set up in a little different area because they were building a an amphitheater in the park where transition was last year. I didn't care for the bike transition. I thought it was too cramped. I liked it better last year,
I agree.
but the athlete village was cool. It was the same setup on pavement, so then I kind of neutral there. Bike check-in went smooth. I think we had a really good position for our bikes, so we got lucky there.
Hell yeah,
Yeah.
we
We're
were right next to the porta potties. We were
Yep.
also, like, we were very close to the end, so, like, you could run around if you needed to. It's really nice to be on the end of a
Yeah.
rack. Yeah,
Yeah.
so the
Mhm.
and it was, like, in the center of the whole transition, so you only had to run halfway and then with your bike and then run out the other halfway. Yeah, so I thought it was great. I disagree. I actually liked where transition was. I do agree that it was a little bit cramped just because it's on the street and they were trying to keep the sidewalks walking paths. But I
Yep.
did like where it was positioned better than last year because out of the swim, it was a shorter run compared to
Yeah,
last
for
year.
sure.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
there's
true. Yeah.
another block
Yeah.
for it out of the swim
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I mean, pre-race nerves and confidence level. This is an interesting little one I thought about, and I thought I was going to be more nervous than I was. I was confident that I was going to have a good bike. I think I could have had a better bike. I definitely could have had a better run, and I could have had a better swim. But confidence-wise, I felt going into the race, like I said, well trained. I feel confident enough in the water until I got in the water this time. We'll talk about that when we start talking about the swim. But what was your guys' impressions of your or what is your thoughts on your nerves and confidence level going in?
April does not have that problem.
My entire body was vibrating the entire week. That's what I feel like. It is from being nervous, but also excited and like ready to go. And I need to always be moving and then I feel better. Like I got the most nervous when we got on the bus to go from transition to the swim start. That was like the only time where I was like, oh God, like I don't know if I could do this. And I'm like nervous chatting up Mary that's sitting in the same seat with me. And I'm like, oh God, I'm so sorry, Mary. I just can't shut my mouth because now I'm sitting down and I can't like move around and I'm super nervous. Like I'm the type of person that like I just need to move and I just need to be excited and be ready and like
Yeah.
so I was so
Even at 2 a.m.
even at 2
Yeah.
a.m. I was up at 2:30 a.m. ready for the race.
That's
And fun fact, ever since Sunday morning, I have woken up at 2:30 a.m. ready for the race. I cannot sleep. I can't sleep. Like every day I
That's
wake up,
so
I'm like,
funny.
it's race day.
well, it's funny
Yeah.
because you're clearly sleeping, but maybe not at the right times because we were having a little group chat on our chat app, and I was like, "Where's April at? She hasn't responded. And April stopped working. Like an hour and a half later, she's like, I wasn't working. I was taking a nap.
I was napping because I've been up race ready since 2:30 and it's Tuesday now.
So my only I don't want to say only complaint because we can always complain. I don't have many complaints, but this is a complaint, and I hope that Ironman or Rockford or whoever's responsible fixes this. The Porta John situation at the swim start was atrocious.
Yeah.
They
I
had
don't remember having a problem last year, right?
they
Transition, so we couldn't go to the bathroom when we got to transition before we
I
got on the buses to go to the swim start.
I totally understand locking them in transition because if they're open, then the lines start creating, people start using them there, and then they have a hard time herding people onto the buses to get to swim start. So I get that they want you to get your ass out of transition and get to swim start. They needed to have 4 times the amount of shit houses at swim start than they had. They
Yeah.
had 3
Or
banks
other
of
ones.
maybe 7, 6 or 7
It was
porta
4.
johns and the lines were 1,000 yards long.
For
Every
almost
racer,
2,000 racers. Like we
yeah,
all need to poop.
Us
and and
Nerves.
by the
And
time you get there, you stand in line for 20 minutes. At least we stood in line waiting to get our turn for the bathrooms, and that's one area that
and
they
then there's no
definitely need to
toilet
improve.
paper.
Wait, time
Right.
out, time out, time out. Can we tell the story about Grace and the toilet paper?
I have
So
no problem with telling that story.
okay,
I don't
I'm gonna tell the story. So we're standing in line for the porta potties, and it's now Grace's turn. She's in the front of the line, and the next guy that comes out, or person that I don't know who it was, comes out of the porta potty, and they're like, "There's no more toilet paper." And Grace is like, I can't go in there." I'm like, "Grace, Chad just gave us a whole package of dude wipes. You have 4 wipes in your hand. How many wipes do you need for this poop you're gonna take? Go in the porta potty. I don't care if it doesn't have toilet paper. It's raining. It's going to melt in your hand anyway. Go, go, ma'am."
And I think she said, "But what if I need 5?"
Yeah, she goes,
Yeah.
"What if I need more?" Grace,
I made it work. I made it work.
Yep.
4.
Dude,
I
we're
barely
making
made it
a
work.
make a mental checklist for next year of
Yeah.
all the things that we need.
5
Good
Yeah,
dude
luck.
for
wipes is
sure.
number 1 on the list.
Yeah.
When I run, when I stopped, I had to poop again on the run. The porta pots were out of toilet paper. The entire, I think it was mile 4, every single porta pot was out of toilet paper.
Girl, just hit that sprinkler. You're fine.
Yeah.
No, man, the rash. No, they need to be stocked with toilet.
Yeah, toilet paper,
Yep.
please. Rockford,
Yeah.
Ironman,
Yes.
please stock
And
up
I've
on the
stopped
toilet
at the
paper.
next aid station, but that one had toilet.
Or
Yeah.
maybe in our run kit, we put a little zippy bag of wipes for next year.
Yes, stick
Yep.
them in my.
Mhm.
But, other than that, I think the whole race was well run,
Yeah.
well supported volunteers. I think I heard there was like 1,800 plus racers, almost 2,000 racers,
Mhm.
and there was 1,650 volunteers. So
That's
almost a
incredible.
1-to-1 ratio.
That's amazing.
So
That's awesome.
that is
Yes.
impressive.
Yes.
So race morning, we know April was up at 2:30. Chad
Mhm.
got up at 4:30, and April was already on fire. So, typical morning, you wake up, you try to get something in your gut and get it out before you go. But we all had breakfast. We got the transition, I don't know what, like 5:30 or so.
Yeah,
Yeah, about.
probably.
We got the bike set up, and I totally had no problem getting everybody's bike set up. There's no excuses. That was not meant to be taken the wrong way. So hopefully it wasn't.
No.
No, we just
I
appreciate
love
you so much.
I
Yes.
love doing it, and I mean, it actually helps stimulate my brain and not focus on the neurosis of I'm about to swim in a half hour. Yeah, to keep busy working on a bike. And all right, does April have enough air in her tires? Does Grace clean her chain? So we got everything set up. It was raining a little bit in the morning when we
Yeah.
got there. It had rained that night. We had some, conversations with Bridget before. Bridget gave us all hugs, and we knew she was going to be there. And we get to swim start, and that's where we just talked about the shit houses. I think that messes with your head too. When you got all these athletes have all this nervous energy, and you're standing in line, and everything that's going through your mind is, I got to take a dump, but I might not be able to because the race is
Yeah.
going to start, and none of that's going to happen. There's plenty of time, and you're going to be able to take care of your business, but your brain doesn't let you think that way. And so the emotional state at the swim start, I think, is something that maybe Ironman can help the athletes pay a little bit more attention to those finer details
Oh,
for
see,
us.
I
But
don't know. I think it may be, of course, number 1, have enough toilet paper, yes, and have enough porta potties that everybody has time to go at least once, right? But if I have too much time from my bathroom break to the swim start, I'm gonna go and take advantage of it 5 more times because I'm a nervous peer. Like growing up as an athlete too, I'm like, "Oh, if I got 10 minutes, I'm gonna go." So
yeah,
it actually, like, I was actually fine with the timing of the bathroom break to the swim start. The only thing I didn't like is because the line was so long, Chad and I couldn't actually get up far enough into the pace group that we wanted to. We were a little
yeah.
bit further back than we wanted to. It ended up being fine within the swim, but it just, like, when you're preparing for something specific, when you get in the water, like, it kind of messes with you a little bit because I couldn't, like, my first step into the water, I couldn't get to where I wanted to go and where I was prepared to start. So that's my only complaint. I don't know that I needed, like, I would have gone 10 more times if you gave me the opportunity.
Well, I would rather have the opportunity than sit there crossing your legs
True, true.
and only know you're going to get a chance to go one time.
Yeah.
So then they start with the national anthem. Where April and I are moving up to our spot. Karen and Grace, we're going to your spot. I think
Very.
We wanted to get to
Mhm,
like the
very.
30 and Mary too. We wanted to get to the 30-minute start time. Is that what we were shooting for?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we ended up in we wanted the 30 to 33 and we ended up 33 to 38 or whatever it was.
33 to
So we were like
35, yeah.
we were one wave behind where we wanted to be. So the anthem goes off and then the cannon race starts. Grace, what was going through your mind when the cannon went off?
I was just excited, and where I put myself in the pacing was probably around the 35 to 40 minutes, so I knew I had a long time to wait. So, at that point, just excited for everybody to start, but it's also knowing, okay, I have time to, like, come down and wait and watch everybody. That was I think it's a lot different if you're standing ready to jump in the water when the cannon goes off, as opposed to being way back where I was. How about you guys?
April?
Yeah, the canon doesn't bother me because I know in my head, like, there's so much time between the first racer to me that I'm gonna hear, like, "Well, the first person's out of the water and it's been
Yeah,
21 minutes," you know? So, I get really excited because, like, we're starting and I like to dance in line and I like to like
yeah.
I said, I just vibrate until I actually start the movement. So, that's what I was doing in line, just entertaining myself and entertaining people. So canon does not get in my head, but clearly does for a particular athlete.
Cannon gets in my head,
Oh.
and as soon as a cannon goes up, I'm like, "Shit, I gotta swim. Here we go." Even though I've been training, because you guys know how I feel about the swim, and I know I'm
Yeah.
getting better, and I am getting more confident, and I'm gonna talk here in a minute about my swim particularly, and each of us will talk about our various legs of the race. But yeah, the cannon is that's when it's real, and, it's kinda cool, but it's also like, "Shit, this is a really cool event." It is a production, and I'll tell you, Dan Barr he's part of our group, and, Dan has done hundreds of races. Dan is I think I'm gonna get this wrong, but I think he's in the 70 to 74 age group.
No, that's right.
Mm.
And he won his age group in the race. This was his first Ironman branded event, but he's done world championships, USA Triathlon. He's competed in Australia. He's competed in Thailand. He's competed all over the world. He's an amazing athlete and he's just a
Yeah.
genuinely nice guy. And he texted me yesterday or day before yesterday and said, "I really want to thank you for talking me into doing an Ironman." He goes, "You are absolutely right that the energy at an Ironman is unmatched in any of these other races." And I've done Mai Tai; it's an off-brand race, the 70.3, and there's energy there, but it absolutely until you feel it at an Ironman. And I think Dale will say the same thing. Even though Dale did the relay. I kind of talked him into doing it this year until he got hurt, and he's like, "This is so freaking cool. I can't wait to get back." And so, for anybody that's thinking about doing an Ironman, just do it. Life's too short to just not. If you're in the triathlon and you love doing this kind of stuff and punishing your body, do it. Do an Ironman. Do a 70.3 or do a full. You only live once. So there's my words of wisdom. Another little side story. Sean went to high school with a kid who really excellent football player. I think he got a football scholarship, D2 or D3 school somewhere down south, and he's doing well. He's a junior in college now, and he competed in this Ironman,
And
and he did it in like 7 hours and 10 minutes or 7 hours and 15 minutes,
all right, all
and
right.
he's 20 years old, and he just joined our club,
Oh,
which
I
I
love
will
it.
point out
No.
we have 101 members in the Manhattan Tri Club now.
Woo, triple
We passed the century.
digits.
So, very cool. Thank you for all of you guys listening and everybody that's joined us so far. It's gonna do nothing but get better. We've got some other cool stuff we'll talk about towards the end that I won't spoil as far as some gear. A really good news story I think we should share with everybody. But sorry, so let's get into it. The swim. Who wants to go first?
So now we're in the swim. I would like to relate something to you, Grace. When I was swimming, so I jumped in. I just wanted to have a better start because last year the rest of my swim was fine. It was the start where everyone around me was panicking, and so I like couldn't get my face in the water. And I've talked about this before. So this year I had an awesome start. Jumped right into the water, started swimming, and then all of a sudden I was like, this water is so dark. I could just like sink into it and just disappear forever. and had this panic in me. And
Oh,
so I started breaststroking. I probably got 100 yards in and then started breaststroking to have to talk myself down. My breathing wasn't bad. My heart rate was a little bit elevated. I was really nervous. And like my self talk started out with, well, you could just get out now. You don't have to do this. Like, there's kayaks over there. So, just like when you were in the run where you were like, I could just walk off this course.
it's all right.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, I could just get out. It's like it'll be fine. Like this is a choice I'm making. But then I like calmed down. I was like, I've swam this many yards 1,000 times over. Like everything will be fine. So I was able to then finally like get my breathing and my heart rate under control and then put my face back in the water, and then the rest of the swim was totally fine. I was just so mad at myself, and I had a really good swim time. Like I finished in 27 minutes something seconds, and so my time was good. But again, like another place, so I could have beaten that sub 6 hour time if I hadn't like gotten in my head a little bit. But I guess, that's part of the race. But the water was like so dark. It had rained like leading up to the race quite a few days. There was a lot of debris and like bark and leaves and whatever in there. So I think that's what was getting in my head.
Yeah, I'll go. I had a target swim time of around 35 minutes, and I swam it in 34:47. So in
Excellent.
that respect, I did what I wanted. The bad news in that is the river was humming, and that current, I should have finished not too far behind April. April's a faster, better swimmer than me, no question about it. And I don't think I could have swam in the 27 or 29-minute range, but I think I should have been in the 31. And my swim, I wore a wetsuit. April didn't. I'm just not confident in my swim enough to not wear a wetsuit yet. The river conditions, they didn't bother me as much. The water was murky and icky. It didn't taste bad. So that, I guess we got that going for us. Don't know if we all get brain eating amoebas down the road or whatever, but
I
the
don't like
the
if I get sick in 3 to 5 business days, y'all, I swam in warm water. Okay.
Yeah. The the conditions they weren't ideal from that respect. There was at one point in the swim, I felt something like hit me on the top of the head, and I
Mm.
was like, "What the?" I thought somebody kicked me, and I popped my head up. Nobody was around me. Went back down. I could still feel like something on my head. I reached up, and there was literally like a foot long piece of driftwood stuck to my swim cap. So I kind of flipped that off, and that was kind of gross. At least it wasn't a water moccasin or an alligator,
Or poop.
but or poop. Might have had poop on it, but I felt like we started in the right spot, April and I. I got in, and my goal was to stay on April's feet and basically draft off of her because she's stronger and I wouldn't have to work as hard. And I think we got in like maybe 200 yards, and I was with her. And I think I bumped your leg a couple times, and you're
Yeah.
looking at me like, fucking knock it off.
No, no. I was like, oh, that's cool. We're good. We're good. Keep it moving.
But then I kind of something happened, and I'll explain how my brain processes swimming in a second. But I flipped over on my back and floated for a second. My heart rate kept coming way up, and I couldn't bring it down. So I floated on my back, took a few seconds, maybe 10 seconds, flipped over. You were only like maybe 20 yards ahead of me. And I started swimming again. And I'm like, all right, I can catch her. Mistake. I shouldn't have tried that because then I brought my heart rate back up again.
Mhm.
I almost got to your feet again and I had to flip over to my back. So I floated again. The good thing about floating is I was floating at like 1.5 miles an hour because that current was taking you. So you're still picking up time. And so I finally started to calm down, and at no point did I in the swim at all did I want to get out. Did I say I'm quitting? I could just walk away. My brain didn't go there. But for me, with the swim, what happens in my head is I I knew we had to keep the buoys on our right. So I'm swimming and I'm having no problem sighting. I feel like I'm going in a good line, staying right on the buoys. And they say that's the fastest part of the river. So I want to stay right on the buoys. What happens in my head is when I sight, your head comes up and whatever the scene is what my brain imprints. So people in front of me, people on the side of me, kayaks, jet skis, everything's moving around. Swim another 6, 7, 8 strokes, head comes up again. That scene is totally different. And my brain does not like that. It doesn't like that dynamic change in the scene every time I look up. And so that's why where my heart rate starts to come up. And then I I do better when I get into an open area where there's nobody around me and there's no kayaks around me and I can just swim. And that's where I made up my best time was in those areas. As soon as I got into traffic, because there was times where I didn't get passed by a whole lot of people based on where we were seated, but I was starting to pass some people, and as soon as I'd start getting into traffic, I would have to flip over and I'd float for a few seconds, and so that's one thing that I know I gotta work on, and I've got a couple little, ideas on how I'm gonna work on it and different coaching and different people to work with, so hopefully I can correct that. I'm sure I can correct it, and if
That
I can
makes a
improve.
that makes a whole lot of sense though, based on how you drive. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I get that, it's funny. That is funny.
I'm just getting Chad shit because when we were driving around town, we were all in the same car. Chad drove us around in his he has a big car that fits everybody. So what like we just it was funny because we're you want to sightsee and then Google Maps did him dirty one time and made him go down the wrong way on a
Oh,
one-way street. So
Yeah, Grace was my witness. The map said to turn there, and I
it
turned, and Bridget and April were behind me, and I'm like, "Shit, I'm
I was like,
going the one way,"
we're
and
not
I
doing
could see
that.
that they weren't turning, and I'm like, "But Bridget's a state trooper, so she can get us out of this if we get caught, so she should follow me."
Wrong state, Chad. Oh no, 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 no. Right state. Never
No,
mind.
right
Never mind.
state,
Right
state.
state. We're not in
but
Wisconsin
Not
yet.
like wrong state. No.
I haven't had to use it yet, but I got the get out of jail free coin that Bridget gave me, so it better work, Bridget.
Ah, that's funny. Yeah. Sorry. I just had to
So
say that.
Yeah.
yeah, back to my swim. I think my swim is from a speed perspective, it was right where I thought I was gonna be. I'm not happy with my swim. I wanna get better. I think I coulda shaved 4 to 5 minutes off of my swim with especially with that current, and I know what I got to improve on. So, I know what worked and what didn't, and what I need to do the next time. So, how
Yeah.
about you, Grace?
I was happy with my swim. I know the river helped me a lot. Obviously, we all have very different people, different personalities, different techniques that work for us. When I get in the water, I didn't notice murky water. I didn't notice debris. I didn't notice anything. In my head, it's just don't stop swimming the entire time.
Nemo.
My goggles were so foggy in the beginning that I couldn't see anything, but I could see when I was close enough to a buoy, I could see the big orange thing. So I'm like, just wait till you see the next big orange thing. But I don't panic. I just keep swimming. And it was fine. I finished in slightly over 30 minutes, which for me is great. So I was happy with my swim time. I just know now, and I learned it last year at Rockford, that that's what I have to do. I have to just, I can't stop because if I stop, then I might not keep going or I'll
Yeah,
keep stopping or yeah.
yeah.
But
I'm
the river
jealous
was
of your
my friend.
ability to just keep going.
Oh, I know. How about it?
Yeah.
Well, compared to last year, there's not a comparison, but my time last year was 109.42. I missed the cutoff by 20 seconds, and they would have pulled me out, and my race would have been done. But I was cramping. Literally swam from kayak to kayak, and it was just awful. And I knew I needed to get better on it. I worked on it all summer.
Yeah.
So compared to
And look
last
how
year,
far you've
my time.
come.
I'm sorry. Say again.
Look how far you've come. That's amazing. Great.
Well, I mean, we all work hard at what our weaker disciplines are, and you guys both have worked hard on the bike all summer. We've gone on group rides, and you're on the trainers, and you're working on with power now. So we all have different demons we got to battle, and
Yeah.
For sure.
But
you know
time out.
this.
Take credit for that because to your
Yeah.
point, Grace,
Because you
like,
battled it.
yeah, like it took you over an hour last year to do the same swim. And this year it took you a little over 30 minutes, you said, right? And you're still not
34.
satisfied. Like
Yeah,
that's like because we keep trying to improve that, like,
Mhm.
but take credit where credit's due because that even
Yep.
whatever it was, the mental part of it, the preparation part of it,
yeah.
I'm sure the weather played a little bit of part of it because of the cramping and the whatever, but it was also like that's a huge like mental gain to go even though you still struggled on it, it was much better than it was last year. So,
Yeah.
take
It was
credit for that.
I do, and when I came out of the water, I was happy. I knew what my time was. I looked at my watch, set right. I did do the stupid triathlon setting on my watch, and I buggered it up in transition, but ended up not using it. But I knew what my swim time was, and I was happy with that. But I tell you what let's talk about going into T1. I came out of T1, and I am competitive, April. I knew you were ahead of me, and I'm like, fuck, I got to get through T1 because I got to catch her ass. And I knew I was going to have to go hard on the bike to do that because you had a pretty
Pissed.
good
I'm
jump on
pissed. I'm
me.
still salty about it, Chad.
Wait till we're gonna talk about that part because
Ooh.
that was funny. But when I came out of the water, I did not feel good, like, physically. I stood up, I got dizzy, and that's a lot of people experience that. I got dizzy as soon as I got up on the ramp, and I had to grab one of the volunteers' arms, and they kinda walked me to the strippers. A wetsuit stripper sat me
Wetsuit
down.
strippers. Yeah.
Wetsuit
Be
strippers.
clear.
And it was this older lady, little bitty thing, probably smaller than Grace. Maybe she was probably Karen size, so little bitty thing. She's like, all right, pull your suit down around your waist. Had it around my waist. I sat down. She literally grabbed hold of my wetsuit and just yanked it, and it just ripped right off. And then she's like, all right,
She
get up.
practiced this.
And she
Mhm.
pulled me up. She helped me up, gave me the wetsuit. So then I started feeling good. My heart rate was high coming out of the water. So I just figured I got to bring this down before I get on the bike. It wasn't that far to transition. I walked to transition. I felt okay in transition getting set up. I got the bike computer started, got my helmet on, got my shoes on, and because it was raining, I left everything in my bag, that was one of my mistakes. Left everything in the bag, so I had to hunt around. I forgot to put my heart rate monitor on, so I didn't I used my watch for heart rate for the race. I couldn't find my cycle gloves, and it's like a baby blanket for me. I
Well,
gotta have my gloves on. So I had to walk around the rack, got to my bike. I realized I don't have my gloves. Gotta walk back around to get to my bag because my bike was racked the other way. Finally, I dig my gloves out, find them, get them on, and get into to bike exit. And I probably I think I stopped in the Porta John because they were open at that point, before all that went down. And what was funny is Dale and Chris, and I don't remember who else I saw. Bridget, you weren't at T1, I
No.
don't think.
no, she was waiting for us to get out of the
At
water. She thought we were still in
Right,
the
that's
water.
right.
Yeah, I missed
That's
all
right,
of you.
she missed us. So, I saw those guys, and I knew that my T1 was just gonna suck, because I'd taken more time. I fumbled with the gloves, and so that I figured, "All right, we'll improve. I'll get better on T2." But got on the bike, and I was off from there. So how about you guys? April, how was your T I don't think I talked to you about your T1. How did that go?
It was awesome. Both of my transitions were awesome. I saved 15 minutes in my transitions alone because I came prepared. And I even, when I was packing my transition bags, thought to myself, like, I don't know, like, you know how sometimes we're like, oh, I'll pack this just in case I need it, or I'll pack this just in case I need it. No, 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 no. I only packed the things that I knew I was going to need because otherwise it was going to take more time than I wanted it to, or I would have to like think through what that transition would be. So I put my two bike shoes out. I put one sock in each shoe. I also wear calf sleeves. So I put rolled up my two calf sleeves, one in each shoe, and then made a bag of items that I was going to throw into my pockets. And so I was like 5 minutes in that transition, five and some change in that transition. So I felt
Nice.
really good about it. Like I in and out and so fast. Also, wait, I don't usually get to share triathlon information that is new, especially to Chad, because he does all the research. Did you, wait, I'm gonna make a video about this for our Instagram and for our Facebook because everyone that I told this to, no one knew the secret. Did you know that on your tri suit, and it also happened on my swim skin, that if you put your zipper up, it unlocks it. Your zipper down locks it. So if you put your zipper up, I just on my swim skin just pulled like apart the zipper and it just opened up and I could strip my own swim skin off me. And the same thing happens for your tri suit. Like
Yep.
you just put that zipper up and it unzips. Like you just give it a little tug and it unzips.
I admit I did not know that, and I since checked that out. I went for a quick spin on, I think, Tuesday on my mountain bike, and I wore a cycle jersey, and cycle jerseys
Same
do it too.
thing. Same thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So,
I
yeah,
feel like it's an unknown secret to all of our triathlon gear. So I'm gonna make a
yeah.
video for everybody.
What about though the wetsuits? Do they do those?
I don't
No,
The
know
wetsuits?
wetsuits no, the wetsuits don't do that.
because they have
Because
those
they're
big.
probably
Oh, yeah,
too
because
like
it's a long cord and yeah.
Yeah. And I kept looking for like a pull cord to put on my zipper for my swim skin. And then the lady at the triathlon store, when I was buying a tri kit, was like, oh, make sure you lock it so it doesn't keep unzipping on you. And I was like, I'm sorry, ma'am, what did you say? Unlock what? And so then I tested it on my swim skin and I'm like, this is incredible. I don't need one of those pulls anymore like a wetsuit
Yeah,
does. So yeah, we'll make a video for you so you can see all how the zippers actually work on all your
yep,
gear.
very cool. That was a very awesome tip.
Hmm.
Grace, T1.
It was fine. I'm slow in transition. I think mine was about 7 minutes. I have to figure out how to get faster in transition.
Yep, me too.
It was fine.
Me
No,
me too.
no, I remembered all my nutrition on the bike this year, which was good because I forgot it all last year.
Good job.
Um, yeah, yeah. So it was good.
So, we all had plans on the bike, and this is where you make or break your race really because it's the largest portion of the race. We put together the race plan for we each had our own based on our own FTP and our power expectations and where to go, and we all had the power written on our wrists with Sharpie. So what your power should be in a crosswind, what it should be in a tailwind, what it should be in a headwind, what it should be on a hill, and what it should be on a
Uh,
descent. I think those were the five. And for me, having it on my arm was helpful. I know in my head what I want to ride at, but sometimes it's that reminder when you're in the crosswind and you're in your aero bars, you're looking right at your wrist and you crosswind power here, and you look at your computer and shit, I'm 30 watts below where I should be, or I'm 30 watts higher than I should be. So you can adjust and stick to a plan. And I think these long endurance races, having the plan is going to win the day every time. So I had my power ranges. I actually was a little bit lower than I wanted to be, and I don't know why. I think the wind had something to do with it. I didn't want to blow up in the wind because I struggled so badly on the run last year. I My run has really come along well this summer so far, up until Sunday and or at the end of Sunday, and so I wanted to make sure I had enough in the tank for the run, and so I started out holding it back a little bit on the bike, and I think that ultimately came to bite me in the butt a little bit from where I wanted to be. So those early miles, I wanted to settle into that, that easy effort, kind of get the fuel in and get going. I felt good in the middle section, except so we had this probably a 15-mile an hour wind, 13 to 15-mile an hour wind for the first, what would you say, 20 miles, 18 miles? So pretty much the whole way going out of transition, you got a 5 mile, then you got like a 8 mile straight up to the loop, and that was straight into the wind. And most of that's uphill. Remember that part, Bridget?
yeah.
absolutely.
And so that wind was tough. The wind and the hill combination was tough. So I decided to try to conserve a little bit, and I think it helped my run at the end of the day, but I don't know that it helped my run enough that I should have done it. I probably could have gone a little bit harder and had a better result.
Well, we
But
never know because you had to make so many porta potty stops.
Right.
on the run, well, that's what I'm going to get into here on the nutrition in a second.
Yeah.
The fourth discipline, but legs felt good. I had a couple incidents with, crowds and bumping into people, and I lost a bottle. My bottle ejected I think in the same exact spot as it did last year. There's this nasty little part coming right out of town before you go north. It's a real bumpy section, and I heard it, and I was like, I'm not gonna stop and go back and get it. And that was an electrolyte bottle, so I think that somewhat contributed to my GI issues. So yeah, the wind. I felt like the wind never really was a true tailwind. I think we kind of had a
No,
cross
never.
tail.
It was
It
horrible.
felt like it was swirling a little bit. There was when we turned back to the east, that there's a nice smooth paved road going into Rockton. That was a fast little section, and that was almost a tailwind. But then that was only like 4 or 5 miles, and then you quickly like turn the loop and you're going right into the wind again. And it just felt like it was either a cross or a headwind the entire race. Coming back, there was a couple good sections, but I think there was about a 4 mile section. I looked down and I think I was probably averaging in the mid 30s to high 30 mile an hour range in that one section. And it was a kind of a flatter downhill area, but felt real good there. Got to, I think, probably mile 48 to 50. And I'm thinking, I haven't seen April yet. And I'm
And I'm
thinking
thinking, and I'm
maybe she
thinking,
stopped.
I have not
21.
seen Chad yet.
Maybe,
I,
I'm
I was
thinking,
watching the tracker going, he's getting a little bit closer. He's getting a little bit closer. He's not catching her yet.
well, I'm thinking maybe I missed her. Maybe she stopped at an aid station. Maybe she stopped in the bathroom and I missed her. And I'm like, damn it. So all of a sudden, I see this black and white stripe in front of me, and then the competitive juice sets in. So then I set the hammer down, and it was literally like me and her were out there was nobody else around us really, and we're just starting to come back into the town. And I passed her, and I'm like, "Let's fucking go!" And she's like, "Let's go!" And then I passed her, and I get probably I don't know 20 or 30 feet, and she's like, "Damn it! I didn't want you to pass me."
I was so pissed. We were in the last 3 miles of the bike. We were at 53 miles, and I was like, I'm gonna get this whole bike. I'm gonna get this whole bike. And then this dude comes up right in my ear. Let's effing go. And I'm always ready, so I'm like, let's go.
And then, Bridget, you'll appreciate this. That right at that section, when that little
Hill?
exchange occurred,
Yeah.
is the gigantic freaking hill at the end. And so we hit
Where the
this.
ice was falling from the sky.
We hit this hill, and there's this little old European lady. I could tell she had a European accent. She's like, "Let's go. You need to go." And I'm doing like 4 miles an hour going up this monster hill.
Well, that's better than me going backwards last year. I just got off my bike and just sat. This is ridiculous. Who knew Rockford had Colorado hills,
Yeah.
Frickin' A, man. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
so mad though. I was like, I thought I was gonna get through the whole bike. I was like, I'm prepared for this day. Those farm
I think Curry even texted me. He's like, Chad's like it was like at the top of the loop, like probably 25 miles in. Oh yeah, Chad's catching her. Chad's catching her. And I was like, ain't catching her yet. Like,
calm down there, man. I'm still hustling. I didn't get off my bike not one time. I'm going to tell you all a secret. Do not repeat this. Don't tell anybody ever. I peed on the bike. I was so proud of myself because I was like, I cannot get off this bike. It will A, take too much time and I'm not going to hit my goal time. And B, I don't know if my legs can do that. Like, I don't know if I can physically get off of this bicycle and then get back on it. But I've heard of people doing this. So I was like, I think I can accomplish this. I'm glad I don't have a hydration on the back of my bike because it was a windy day.
Gross.
I did make sure no one was around me. There was no
Yeah.
collateral damage. Everyone was
Right,
fine.
anybody behind you.
Yes, like it was clear everything was fine. But yeah.
I-
But
I-
yes, the
I-
last 3 miles I was literally pissed.
I passed this one young lady, and she was like off to my right. I was passing her, and she turned and blew a snot rocket, and,
Oh.
and I was nowhere near her. But then she turned around and she's like, "I am so sorry." I'm like, "Don't worry, you didn't hit me." She's like, "No, I'm sorry you had to see that." I'm like, "Sweetie, you should see some of the stuff that I've seen."
you're like, you should hear the talk that I had then.
I do think the
So-
bike is like the weirdest part of the whole race because we're all just so in the zone and so like moving that it is the crowdest place I've ever been in that is so silent. Like
Yeah.
no one says anything.
Yeah.
We're all just like heads down, moving, hustling. It is the weirdest thing to me.
Well, and everybody is at some level in pain. And I was in pain on the bike too. And almost everybody that I would go past, I would try to say something. Good job, keep going. Just that anytime somebody and people that would pass me would say the same thing, and that just kind of gets you going a little bit. Just just a little word of encouragement is always helpful. So I try to do that. So, I mean, that was kind of the bike. We go into transition for me. I want to hear Grace's bike, but I was a little bit less than where I wanted to be on power. I think my overall pace was good. I wanted to be a little bit faster, but all things considered, I think I had a pretty good bike. So, Grace, your turn.
Yeah. I was happy with my bike. A The winds are killer. Crosswinds for me are really hard. I literally like riding like this in crosswinds. I have to lean into the wind,
Yeah,
or I'm no joke like this, because that's how I can go forward, or I'll get knocked off my bike.
Yeah, and Grace is the smallest of if you're not watching on YouTube, Grace is the
yeah,
smallest of the 3 of us, so she probably
Um,
yeah. As much as I was saying, like, I think the wind is gonna take my wheels out underneath me, like, yeah.
it
yeah,
really, it really, the wind was tough, but I was happy with my bike. I was happy. Chad was very, very nice and told April and I what, like he said, the headwinds, the crosswinds, the flats, the hills, the power to stay at. And we had it on our arms. And had it not been for him, I wouldn't have had that. So I would look at that as a reminder. One thing that threw me off a little bit is my watch was picking up other people's heart rates. So it said like my max heart rate for the day was 210 or something. And I'm like, oh God, I would have been dead. My heart rate never gets that high. So it would, as I'd ride past people, it was picking up their heart rate. So I like to monitor my heart rate too, to make sure it's, you don't want to blow up that way either. So I want to make sure I'm staying within a reasonable zone, and I couldn't. So for me, the power numbers came in they were really helpful because I couldn't monitor my heart rate. But overall, I was happy with my ride. Yeah. How about you, April?
Did you make sure that person that had the 200 heart rate, it did not die? There was no one, like, dead, like, passed out,
No,
right?
everybody
Okay.
was like riding, and I was like, all right, well, somebody around here has got a really high heart rate.
We're a little anxious on the
Yeah.
bicycle. Maybe it was someone that crashed, you know?
Yeah. Remember last year on the bike, there were like people on the road, like laying in the grass. I didn't see anybody
yeah,
this
They were
last year.
crashed
They were
every
passing
yeah.
all over. Yeah.
They
yeah.
crashed they crashed at, like, the aid stations, they crashed everywhere, and I saw, like, maybe 2, which I thought was really good, and nothing
Yeah.
major, not like, there was a couple ambulances last year, nothing major this year, so we're either getting better, all of us as athletes, or
Yeah.
I don't I don't know what
I
else.
did mess up my nutrition on the bike because I thought I was really smart, and I packed little Ziploc baggies for each hour on the bike because I was going to be really good and make sure I ate enough. And it was just too hard to open the Ziplocs, and I couldn't keep track of which Ziploc I had eaten out of and which one I didn't. So by the end, I was just reaching in and like grabbing handfuls of gummies and like and riding. So I didn't eat as much as I had planned to on the bike, or
Oh,
drink as much as I had planned.
interesting, so
Did
you
you
felt underfueled?
No, I felt fine, but I didn't hit my fuel goal, like, in my
Mm,
head, what I thought I needed.
okay.
I didn't feel underfueled, but I probably did underfuel.
What did
did
you
you
do,
stop at
Chad?
any of the God? Well, hang on one second before I get into that catastrophe. Did you stop at any of the aid stations, Grace, or did you
No, I just
roll through
grabbed a
them?
bottle. I rolled through and grabbed a bottle of
So
the
yeah,
Western Electric
April
brand.
missed. I grabbed a bottle too, and that's when my problem started. But as a consolation prize, I got a nice Ironman branded precision hydration
Me
water
too.
bottle
Yeah.
out of it.
Yeah.
So
Threw
that
mine and I took theirs.
my thanks for that intro there, April. My nutrition problems started on the bike. Two things. The first, I overdid the carbs, and it was unintentional. I planned to do 100 about 100 to 110 grams of carbs an hour, and I do a liquid mix in my bottle. So I had 2 bottles, each of them was ratioed so that they would last me the whole race, and then I had a bottle of electrolytes, and my front hydration unit had electrolytes, just Element. And so I launched my first bottle at that one section, so I was without electrolytes, so I grabbed the bottle at the first aid station, which was at like it was quite a ways out. It was like mile 20 or so, wasn't
Mhm.
it?
Yeah.
And it was they were saying it's electrolytes, and I like precision hydration. I they got the electrolyte mix that I've used, and I'm okay with that. But they also have those little like Alka-Seltzer fizzy drop things, and that's what they had in their bottles was that fizzy stuff. And I took that bottle and I started drinking that, and I didn't realize it at first because you're not really paying attention, or I wasn't. And what that does to me is it makes me have to pee incessantly. all the time, every 5 minutes, no matter what I'm doing. And so I all of a sudden I got like 10 miles left and I've got to pee like a racehorse. And I couldn't go on the bike. I tried and I wasn't going to stop at the last aid station. I think I was already past it at that point. And so when I got into transition, I had overcarbed because I was under on the electrolytes and I had a 60 gram chew and I had something else. I had like a 30-gram gel or caffeine gel or something. I took both of those. So I figured out that took on about 130 grams an hour. Way too much for me. And I thought I could handle it once I realized I made the mistake. I'm like, shoot, okay. So at transition 2, I went into the Porta John. My stomach was like bubble gut. I felt better after that and really got through the first loop, the first 6 miles of the run. I felt okay. April and I ran the first loop together, and at one point, I'm going to share some some stuff here, but at one point, we both are like, we need to find a bathroom, and so we found a porta john. We at the next aid station, we both go into the porta john. Both came out of the porta john. It was funny because April's out first, and I hear, "Chad, are you still in there?"
I wanted to
I'm
make
like,
sure you
"Yeah."
didn't. I wanted to
I
make
know.
sure you didn't run off, and I was like waiting for nobody.
I'm like, "Yep, I'll be out in a second." So, but that was probably like mile 6,
That killed
5 or
my sub
6.
6.
That killed it, and
So many
so
places killed it.
so I started feeling crappy after that, and first coming out of transition 2, we were running, we saw Bridget, adrenaline starts going, and I looked at my watch, I'm like, "Dude, we're running at like an 8:30 pace right now," and we both wanted to be at like a 9:30 pace. So we kinda slowed down, but we were already 2 miles in at that 8:30 pace, and we got through the first loop, and then from that point on, like mile 7, I remember, I'm like, "All right, I'm gonna sprint up to this next aid station." It was like maybe a mile ahead. I I said, "I'm gonna try and get ahead of you and, use the John so you don't have to stop." And then, at that point, I went in there, and then I never saw April again. She passed me, and, I don't it was just a mess. So I was in, like, 3 more porta johns after that, and I never my pace never went down. I still kept that 9:30-ish pace. My average pace for the whole race was affected because of those porta john stops, but my running pace, I felt good on the run until mile 10. My knee just started lighting up on fire, and it had been bothering me since Grace made us run the Quarryman with all the hills, and I could tell something wasn't right. Something wasn't it was bad, and you can start hearing the crowds towards the last 2 miles. You're getting close to the finish. So I kept it up and probably overdid it, but at some point during that last, 2 or 3 miles, I I tore the meniscus in my knee. And as you guys know, I'll be having surgery here in a couple weeks to get that repaired. But a lot of things didn't go good for me in that part of the race, but that was how my run went. GI issues and knee problems.
Speaking of GI issues, Grace.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I was like, "What?"
I'm pretty
I
sure we have a video from Bridget with Grace
Yes,
going, "I
yes,
really
that is
have to poop."
yes, I really had to poop on the run. My run started off fine. I wanted to be around a 10-minute pace, and I for about the first 4 miles, I was around there, uh, and then I really had to poop. And the first at about the 4-mile aid station, every single porta potty had no toilet paper. So then I'm like, "Oh, now I gotta run to the next one." So that mile 4 was like 13 minutes. Oh, no. It was the next mile where I did have to poop was like 13 minutes when I found toilet paper. And yeah, I think after I hit mile 5, I was a run walk. It was not good. I don't know why. I think my nutrition was fine. I considered walking off the course, and because I knew my teammates were still on the course, I did not. But I was like, this it wasn't good. Whatever. I mean, every race is different and some are better than others, and I've got to work on my run. I got to figure out what's going on. I've consistently this training season had a problem once I hit around anywhere between mile 5 and 7. I'm having an issue, and I have to figure out what that is. So, how about you, April?
Uh, my run was kind of like a bell curve. Like I started off really hard because in the beginning of each one of them, I felt like my heart rate jumped really high, and I felt like that adrenaline pushes you in both the swim, bike, and the run. So I went out hard, like not like everybody does, because your adrenaline kicks in. But I was real like Chad said, we were real conscious of it, where we were like, oh, geez, like we need to cool it, we need to pull back, whatever. So I felt like my run was a bell curve where like I started off really well, and then I got like my pace started to peter off, and then towards the end of it like really just locked in and kind of like it's almost like that like mindless. I didn't get like a runner's high or anything, but it was almost like that mindless, like you're just locked in, like your legs just keep moving, you feel like you can go on for hours. So just that middle part of the run I didn't enjoy because it felt kind of painful, it felt like work, where like the beginning was like exciting and like, yeah, I'm almost done. And then the end was like, you're locked in and you feel like you can move, and then to the race finish. But I think I felt like I had to poop because it was a mental thing. But I had like, I like leading up to the race, I of course like changed my nutrition, making sure that, I'm not eating any fiber, or like lots of fats and things like that are going to make you have GI issues. And then I take an Imodium the day of because I'm so afraid to poop my pants, because that is not unheard of. And so I think I was just like, I probably should do this, but like, I don't really know if I have to. So let me take a break really quick. I really should have just
All
kept
my
going.
friends did. I
All my
should
friends
probably.
are doing, yeah. Everybody's pooping here. I don't know. I did find toilet paper everywhere I went though, so I did not have the same problems as Grace. But I feel like I was like so delusional. Like there's something about like it was funny because I was looking back at the pictures too, and like somebody had said, maybe Grace said, like in every picture you're smiling, and I'm like, yeah, because I think I'm just like so delusional of all the things. I also said I'm like I'm gonna have like fun race pictures, so I even locked eyes with one of the photographers because they kind of like hide in little nooks and crannies on like bridges and the corner of a turn or something like that. I locked eyes with one of them and I made a poor choice because I was like, I could have blew out my knee. I go, dude, are you ready? And he looked at me and I was like, ready? 1, 2, 3. And I did like a high kick, like jump thing. And then I landed and I was like, ooh, I almost blew out my knee. This could have been the end of the race, but like, good job. I just can't help myself. The vibrations are just always in my body.
Well, so what you're saying is there's a lot of opportunities that we could shave some time off of.
Well, yeah,
Yes.
it's probably a
Yeah.
lot, very much a lot,
Yeah.
but it was a good
Yeah.
time. Everybody had a good time.
Yeah. So we all got to the finish line, and that's an amazing accomplishment in
Yeah,
itself.
everyone, yeah, like, let's say that aside,
Yeah.
like, everyone on our MTC group that raced made it to the
Yeah.
finish line. Our 70 to
Yeah.
75 group, our 40 to 45 group, our 50 to
Yeah.
55 group, like, everybody we had in the race, our relay finish, everybody finished the race.
Shout
And
out to
what's
our
really cool,
70 to 75 age group because they all medaled, right? They all
yes.
They
Yeah.
did.
All
got
through.
awards.
Yeah.
They all
They did.
placed,
I would
which is
also wait, I think I said this to Mary, but there were 7 people that participated in the 70 to 75 group, and there are 2 in the MTC group. So we brought a third of that 70 to
Yeah.
they all
75
go.
group, and that's like I feel like that's a huge accomplishment. Like that's a big deal that like, our community, like we're
Yeah.
pretty bad at.
Yeah.
Yep. And we had our team, we were all affiliated with the MTC Ironman team, which is a legit recognized team.
Yes.
We took 54th place out of all the teams that were registered. But interesting fact, Karen figured this out for us, that if everybody who was actually in the Manhattan Tri Club had associated with their Ironman profile, the Manhattan Tri Club, we would have finished 17th with all the points that everybody generated, which is a really cool fact. So we're going to start posting to make sure that everybody affiliates their
Yes.
Ironman accounts with the
And
Manhattan Tri Club because we don't get anything for it, but
No.
it is absolutely bragging rights.
right.
Hell yeah.
So, what was your guys' immediate reaction? Proud, disappointed, relieved. I'll tell you, I was all three. I was proud that I did as is significantly better than I did last year. Disappointed in my nutrition choices that caused me to, you know, not do as well as I could have. Relieved that I did the swim in the exact time that I had planned to do the swim. So I think all three know where I can improve, and I look forward to doing it again next year with all four of us racing.
Yes. I was proud of you guys. I wasn't super thrilled with my results. I was relieved it was over. But I am always really tough on myself, and I'm trying to work on not doing that as much as I do. Yeah, after I got over a little bit of the disappointment, I'm like, "All right, that was cool. It was fun. We had such a fun I had such a fun weekend with you guys and with everybody that I would continue to do it and be disappointed just to have fun with you guys." So,
Nah.
Love that. Yes.
That's such a funny I appreciate that. That's a really nice compliment. Also, our Airbnb said that she would love to have us back next year for next year's Ironman in our guest
awesome.
review. So, I mean, we already have the date for next year. We can do it. But it's funny
What is
because
the date next year?
what's that? June 13th.
13th, okay.
Yes. So hopefully the weather is the same that it was this year and
Yeah.
not like pushing it further into June. And Bridget has a redemption story for Rockford. So like we all need to go
Yes.
there again.
Uh-huh, for
Yep.
sure.
Yes.
Athlete house again. And so when I finished the race, it was funny because they handed me my towel, my medal, they took off my ankle bracelet, my house arrest bracelet, and then I immediately was like, I can't stop moving because there's a line that you can stand in to go take pictures in front of the Ironman backdrop. And I was like, if I stop moving right now, I will pass out. Like Chad talks about wanting to pass out after the
Yeah.
swim. It's funny because Grace, you didn't mention how you wanted to pass out after the
Yeah,
run, like felt all weird or like
like the
at the end.
last mile. Yeah.
Yeah, the end of the run. Me, I get that feeling when my body goes from activity to like stop. Then I want to like pass out and die. So all I kept thinking about was like, just get to Bridget, just find Bridget, like move around, get it to Bridget, and get a hug that you did a good job. That's
Yeah.
all I wanted. Just
Oh,
don't stop moving. Yeah. So
that's
I
awesome.
think we're gonna have to do this one next year.
I'm proud of all three of you guys.
We have to for Bridget.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's so
I'm
convenient,
all right.
and I
It
love
is
my
very
river.
convenient.
I love my river, my murky river.
It's
For
so
sure.
Straight
true.
line, current. What more can you ask for?
Yeah. Well, I've got, I know I want to talk about a few other things, but in closing on Rockford in this race, I had to write this down because I feel like it hits hard and it was, you guys will get this when I say it. So I, I wrote that the clock said that my time was 6:02:38, and that's not the number I wanted. But Ironman's not really about a number. It's about finding out who you are when the race stops, going according to plan. And Rockford gave me that answer. And I think being an Ironman isn't about the race. It's about what it takes to get to the race that makes you an Ironman.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's very personal. Yeah.
yeah,
I agree. It's the mental toughness. Like you want to walk off that course, Grace, but you didn't. I
right,
mean, come on. I mean, that's a win no matter what you think. That's a freaking win. So
Yep.
it's the process that gets you there that is so
right.
emotional for me. Like to see you guys do it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So
Well, and to all of our friends that did it and that joined us, and friends that we don't even know very well that are part of our group that followed us and tracked us and congratulated us, and whether they did the race or not, it's just it's such an awesome community. And if anybody, like I said before, if you're listening and you are thinking about doing a race like this, just do it.
come join
It,
Yeah,
us. Let's
I mean,
go.
it doesn't
Yes.
matter how fit you are. You got to train. Otherwise,
Yep.
you can get hurt, but I it's the training is the fun part, and
Mhm.
the race is the reward for the training, and that's what
Yes.
makes you you really find out who you are through the training. And when you wake up in the morning or you get home from work that night and you know you got a 2-hour bike ride or you got to do an hour and a half run and you don't want to do it and there's nothing making you do it except the fact that you know you got this race coming up and that you want to do good for yourself. You're not doing it for anybody else. You're not doing it for your family. You're not doing it for your friends. Each of us are doing this for ourselves. And what it makes us at the end of the training cycle at the end of the run. No matter how long we do this, these times are shaping the people that we are going to be. And I think that that's a really cool thought.
I agree. I agree.
Yes.
And getting through those points in your journey leading up to the race, but also wanting to step off the race course and talking yourself through it and having, the bravery to show up and do something really freaking hard, man.
Yeah.
And it's hard to do the training, it's hard to do the race. I would argue that all day long, it is harder to do what Bridget did this year, and
Yeah.
that's not be able to train. I not be able to train and still show up and go to the race and do what you did. That
Yeah.
it just
Yes.
it's
Yes.
unbelievable.
Yeah. We're
What your
Well,
friend
And
is wishing
I
you
don't know
could.
who's going to fill your shoes next year, but you're going to
I
have
can
to
recruit a few people. Maybe I'll
Yes.
bring
yeah.
my twin sister along. She can look.
start
She looks like me.
start interviewing now.
Yeah, well, start working on my Sherpa.
Nice. Yes, Linda and my twin sister and Brett. I mean, it's going to be
Yeah,
a threesome.
There. Yeah.
Yep.
Really
yeah.
wanted to do this year. So he'll be back.
I mean, well, he almost missed it
Yeah.
by like
I know.
You did so good.
he did good.
So
Awesome.
awesome.
Well,
Well,
congratulations, guys. You are
yes,
all incredible.
Yeah.
congratulations to all you
Quite
guys, and it was fun. Can't wait to do it again.
Yep.
was
April,
fun.
you and
Congrats
I,
to everybody else who did one this year
Yeah.
too. What a good year.
We
yeah,
made
we're
fun
gonna do
without.
Madison, and Madison's gonna be it's gonna be a different story, that's for sure.
I'm going to catch
Yeah.
I'm going to catch you on the bike this time.
So just want to again thank everybody that joined us, cheered us on, rooted for us. I'm going to say a bunch of names here, and hopefully I don't forget anybody. But Grace, April, Bridget, Karen, Mary, Dale, Chris. Who am I forgetting?
Ed,
And
Ed,
Brett,
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 Linda.
Linda,
yeah.
Linda,
Adam.
Adam,
Adam.
everybody. It was amazing. Everybody that raced, everybody that supported. Thank you.
Christy. We forgot
Christy!
Christy.
Christy, this was awesome. We're
Rick.
gonna do it. We're gonna do it again, and appreciate all of you. And we'll see you the next time.
Yep.
Bye,
Rock on.
everybody.
Keep on going. Let's go.
Yeah. See you soon.
See ya. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
So that's a wrap on today's episode of Manhattan Tri Club Leading from the Front. If you made it this far, amazing. You're officially one of us now, slightly unhinged, mildly obsessed, and probably thinking about your next workout. If you liked our episode, do us a favor, follow, subscribe, download, all the things. Send this to your training buddy who needs to hear this, or the one who definitely did everything we just said not to, kind of like Chad. You can find us on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. And don't forget to follow along on Instagram and Facebook. All the things are at Manhattan Tri Club. You can find us there for workouts, chaos, and whatever we're getting ourselves into next. And hey, if you see us at a race, a group run, or just out on the roads, definitely come by and say hi. We're the ones having the most fun and probably talking about triathlon a little bit too much. So until next time, keep showing up, keep pushing forward, and as always, lead from the front.